Known as the Red City, the ancient walls of Marrakech contain bustling markets, statuesque mosques, secretive riads, and a maze of colourful alleyways. Here in the historic Old Town, you can easily feel lost in a bygone era, transported centuries away.
But this weekend, camel power will be replaced by horsepower. Now that's 200 brake horsepower from Formule E as they blaze into town. Well, Morocco is no stranger to motor racing, but this new street circuit has been built just a 5-minute drive from the old city walls and marks a historic moment as Marrakech hosts the very first Formula E race on the African continent. Now, it's no coincidence that Formula E has chosen this weekend to race because just across on the other side of town, delegates from around the world are gathering for the United Nations annual Climate Change Conference, COP22. Between the conference and the emission-free motorsport, the Red City really is turning green. But before we see how, let's get up to speed with the racing that took place in round one. Last month in Hong Kong, Season 3 began as Season 2 ended, with Sebastian Buemi and Lucas di Grassi resuming their battle for the top spot on the podium. Buemi clinched it for Renault Edams, with di Grassi hot on his heels for Abt. Sambird looked set to challenge them until his second car failed to pull out of the DS Virgin garage. Like Humphrey Bogart's piano player in that romantic movie Casablanca, Sam gets to play it again here in Morocco. In the meantime, I'm off to the city of Casablanca on a journey to discover more about Morocco's long love affair with cars. 3 hours drive north of Marrakech on the Atlantic coast of Africa sits Casablanca, Morocco's largest city and the economic and business centre of the country. I'm here to meet Rafik Lahlou, who started to collect and restore classic cars over 10 years ago, preserving a slice of Moroccan auto history. Wow! Rafik, what is this place? A collection of beautiful classic cars.
It's our wonder place. We love it.
We're in Casablanca,
Yes.
We're in Morocco. It's a place where people don't really associate with affection and love of motorsport and cars, but that's not the case, is it?
Casa has a long relationship with cars, and you know the first rally, the first race started in 1912. The famous Grand Prix were held in 57 and 58. The Sterling Moss was here, all the big drivers were here.
Formula E, the future, everyone thinks of electric cars. But what they might not realise is actually it's sort of how cars first started. They weren't the internal combustion engine, they were electric vehicles. And this looks very similar to one of those. What is it?
Well, let's see.
Wow,
It's
okay.
an electric car from the 1920s. It's a replica of a Ford Model T.
Can I drive it today?
You can drive it today. Can I show me your driver's license?
Of course, I've got my driver's licence. I'll provide that for you later. Great, give me the keys, let's go. And away we go.
Make it ooze with the unthinkable. Don't stop till you come first. Life so unpredictable.
Wow, the moss, how
This
beautiful.
is the second biggest mosque in the world.
For the original to come and break them all.
Your turn to indicate, your
Yeah.
turn. Amazing to remember that one of the first automotive cars was electric.
Exactly,
They
back
didn't
in
take off,
1905.
and we've almost done like a full 360, and we're back where we started.
Exactly. So,
Okay, stop.
Stop.
Unfortunately, our car ran out of battery halfway through our electric drive through Casablanca.
I think I've discovered why these cars didn't take off in the 1900s. But it's all right, because Rafik has got it covered. And we're going to go and find out what we should be driving. Okay, so really fast forwarding into the future now, is this car. It's a prototype, but what on earth is it? I've never seen anything like it.
This is a prototype that we made 5 years ago.
Right.
Of course, it has 6 wheels because we were testing the fact that it's an electric car, it's a small car, but it could carry more cargo.
Is this the first electric car with 6 wheels?
In the world, I don't know, but in Morocco, yes.
Well, it's the first one I've seen. It seems like there's a real sort of change in the atmosphere, a lot of progressive thinking at the moment in terms of sustainable transport. I mean, what does that all come from? Why has that started?
The atmosphere of change took place in Morocco 17 years ago,
right,
with our young and dynamic king, Mohammed VI. His vision back in 2009 is that Morocco should be less dependent on fossil fuels, on energy. In 2020, Morocco will import less than 50% of its energy.
Wow.
In 2009, we were importing 97% of our energy needs. And our way to contribute is to reduce emissions. And since we like cars, and our project is new electric cars, lighter, cleaner, greener, and also cheaper for the Moroccan customer.
Now, the 4H comes with the promise of cheaper, greener transport here in Morocco. But in part 2, we're going to meet a man who's taken that philosophy to totally new heights with the cleanest aircraft under the sun. Welcome back to Supercharged, where we're always looking for cleaner modes of transportation. And as the final Formule E preparations are going on down the road, I thought we should take a more traditional mode of transport with Tatita driver Jean-Eric Verne. Jeff, what do you think? The confines of a cockpit must be quite uncomfortable, but what about the 2 humps of a camel?
I think I still prefer my car. I agree with you, it's some kind of clean energy. I think I prefer the smell of my car though.
It doesn't sound that bad.
For Saturday's race, Jean-Eric Verne will be driving his altogether more fragrant Formula E car along this 2.9-kilometre track, the second longest in Formula E history. Team Tatita can hope for some speed this weekend as it's bought its Season 3 engine from championship leader Renault Edams.
Really happy and really good to be here. It's very nice to race in Marrakech. I think it's going to be a special race for me. I think it's a normal track built with walls everywhere around. I think there is one part that stays the same and some part that is used for the road when it's not race track. It's going to be a fast track with, I think, a lot of overtaking opportunities, which is always nice. But it's definitely going to be a less bumpy track that we used to see. I think we shouldn't be too bad in here. So obviously Dams would be the one to beat, I believe. We got the same engine, but hopefully we're going to be in front and finishing the race this time.
Well, that's what we hope, because it didn't go quite according to plan in Hong Kong. You've got a very fast car, but what happened? What went wrong?
There is this little battery that gives the power to the steering wheel and stuff like that, and this little battery died.
He's waiting for somebody to tell him what to do.
And he's in the backup car. His first race car has gone in. If that's a powertrain issue, then they're in real trouble.
There was no way I could have finished the race with the second car. It was important to get as much mileage as possible, even though I was never going to finish the race.
Now, we're in Marrakech, French speaking. Do you feel kind of at home here or not really?
Yeah, I've been in Marrakech many times for holidays. I have some friends here. So I wouldn't say I feel home, but I definitely feel really happy and really good to be here.
Do you fancy checking out the Marrakech Medina?
I think it would be really nice, and I have to say that my camera is getting much quicker than yours now.
No, none of that. So where are you taking me?
So I'm taking you to a very nice restaurant. That's a restaurant where I used to come many times when I was a kid.
What we need is some really good Moroccan tea.
Some proper
perfect
Moroccan tea.
On cue, our tea awaits.
So I have to show you how to pour the tea. So important thing, you only have to fill it half. So you go like this and then you go higher.
Oh no.
And then you go down like. And stop.
That's very impressive. Why do you have to hold it up so high? What difference does it make? Does it aerate the tea?
Yeah, I have a very reasonable explanation, scientific, but I just do it because it looks cool.
It does look cool, very professional, I must say. Well, cheers. Cheers to our camel riding.
Yeah, exactly, and to a weekend in Marrakech.
Good luck this weekend.
Thank you very much.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, Joe. Well, while the drivers return to what they do best, I'm heading to the world's biggest climate change conference. Unfortunately, it's taking place just down the road at Bab Erli.
This is the 22nd United Nations Environmental Summit meeting. The Conference of Parties, or COP as it is known, hosts over 1,300 delegates representing 196 countries, joining together the world of politics and business in the bold mission to limit global warming.
So this has been going on for over 20 years, and here it's a little different because last year we had a conference in Paris and the world came together in the first universal climate agreement. And that had been an impossible dream. Yeah, huge success, and it was an impossible dream. Nobody thought it would happen, and it did. So now they have to implement it. It's so funny because people still talk about, well, is it possible to have a clean energy world? Is it possible to fight climate change? And yet so much has happened in the last decade. You know, if somebody said to you that year on, nearly $300 billion is going into renewable energy, more than into fossil fuels, people say, no, that's crazy, I really don't believe it. I mean, 10 years ago, again, an impossible dream, but it's happening now before our very eyes.
Pursuing that impossible dream is one of COP22's brightest stars, Bertrand Piccard, whose circumnavigation of the world in a solar-powered plane embodies the conference's pioneering spirit.
It feels like science fiction, because when you fly, you look at the sun, you look at your 4 electric motors turning with the propellers, and you have no noise, no pollution, no fuel, and you know that you can fly forever. And you think, I'm already in the future, but it's the present, you know, it's the wonders, miracles that clean technologies can achieve.
Piccard is attending COP22 in his capacity as United Nations Goodwill Ambassador, and I catch up with him in between speaking engagements.
I flew around the world in a balloon in 1999. It was the first, you know, the race with Richard Branson, with Steve Fossett. Yeah. But that was not yet meaningful. It was my personal dream. It allowed me to have the idea of solar impulse because I burned 3.7 tons of liquid propane, and every day I was afraid to fall short of gas. And I said, I don't want to do another flight like that when I'm afraid every day of being short of fuel. So how can I fly with no fuel gauge? How can I fly perpetually? And this idea of having a solar-powered airplane that fills up its batteries with the sun during the day flight, to spend the night in the air, and then reach the next sunrise and continue, this idea was born just after my balloon flight around the world.
Are you nervous? Are you worried? Are you scared? For 5 days you've got to stay relatively awake and fly this plane.
No, you know what really scares me is not to fly a solar airplane across an ocean. What really scares me is to live in a world that burns 1 million tons of oil every hour and pollutes the planet and depletes natural resources. That really scares me. But to fly several days and several nights in a solar airplane, it's magical.
Do you believe that we're going to see solar-powered aeroplanes being used by consumers like myself in years to come?
I would be crazy to answer yes and stupid to answer no. Because today the technology doesn't allow 200 people to fly on solar impulse. But the Wright brothers, they also did not have the technology to transport passengers, and nevertheless it happens. The first computer in the world, it was big as a house, and now we all have one in the pocket. In 10 years' time, you will have electric airplanes flying with 50 people on short haul. Maybe not solar across oceans, but already a first step with electric airplanes. People need clean technologies today. It's a revolution.
To hear more about Piccard's emotional and uplifting experience in the sky and his vision for future travel, visit our website.
Now, I think that a lot of explorers are also secret adrenaline junkies, and around the corner we've got some fast racing going on, Formula E. Are you going to be coming to the race this weekend?
Of course I come to the race of Formula E, because this is the future of car racing. You know, people start to be fed up now of cars who make so much noise and so much pollution. You have to go into the future, not into the past. Formula E is for car racing what Solar Impulse is for aviation. It's a new laboratory showing how clean technologies can be sexy.
As Picard goes to find a place in the stands, he'll be joined by Moroccan fans eager to witness Africa's first ever Formula E race.
Hello and welcome back to Supercharged. We're here in a beautifully bright and sunny Marrakech, and as you can see behind me, the 10 teams and the cars are getting ready because it is race day here in Morocco. Now, in just a few minutes, qualification will get underway, so we'll be finding out who will start the race on pole position. But for those of you who've just tuned in for the first time to Formula E, let's take a recap on the rules and how the point system works.
The street circuit's around 2.5 kilometres in length, and a race will take around 45 minutes. There are a number of rules and Formula E specific quirks designed to make the championship challenging and exciting. Firstly, practice, qualifying and the race all happen on one day.
Well, the first reason for that is that one-day format is less disruptive to the city centre.
This is go, go, go all the time. You've got to get it right very, very quickly. To me, that adds a lot of excitement to Formula E.
The format of the weekend is very difficult. You have 1 hour of free practice, and then you have just another 1 lap in qualifying, maybe 2, and then you have the race.
There's no time, you know, to think about things, to look at the data is very short. There's a lot of things happening in between sessions, so you have to prepare, you have to be ahead of your schedule, basically.
You have to adapt quickly your driving style, you have to find quickly the limits.
Whatever you do in free practice can compromise your race. The car might not be ready in time, the team might not have enough time to make the setup perfect again for quality of the race.
You need to be really focused as a team, no mistake. You must be an unstoppable train during that day.
All drivers score points using the standard FIA system. 25 points for a win, 18 for second, 15 for third, and so on. A driver can also pick up 3 points for taking pole position.
The little change is within the fastest lap point, which is brought from 2 points to 1 point. We've seen that last year it had a lot of influence over the championship results. Season 3 will see the exact same power output. So in qualifying we will have 200 kilowatts and during races 170 kilowatts. For Season 3, the 3 winners of the fan boost will have 100 kilojoules to deploy on their second car. Power output from 180 to 200 kilowatts. They can play with that and get the best strategy out of it.
The fan boost winners awarded that extra allowance of energy are selected by popular vote on social media. The Marrakech fan favourites are Abt drivers Lucas de Grassi and Daniel Abt, and Renault Edam's driver Sébastien Buemi. But will their power advantage help one of them to secure the first African Formula E trophy? The Moroccan spectators are about to find out.
5 red lights will come on, and then we'll be underway here in Marrakech. And race 2 is going. It's a great start. It's a stunning start from Felix Rosenqvist. He leads, Bird in second, little lock up from Piquet in third place.
Daniel Abt 3 wide there, that's not going to work.
Capitalising on his pole position start is Swedish driver Felix Rosenqvist, who's new to Formula E, coming from Formula 3 as reigning European champion. Last year's runner-up Lucas de Grassi didn't qualify so well. Frustrated to be stuck in traffic in 12th position.
This is not good news for Lucas de Grassi. The field is starting to stretch ahead. He needs to be going forward at this point.
He pulls one of his signature overtaking moves. But will it be enough to make up the difference?
Look at him. And he's going to go a little bit. There you go.
A long way around the outside, but that gives him the inside line under braking.
And he's off. Let's see how quickly he gaps these guys here.
Also starting in the middle is Season 2 champion Sébastien Buemi. But with one of the quickest powertrains on track, his Renault Edam's car carries him on a charge towards the front.
Down the inside.
In a hurry, did he not? I mean, that was mighty.
While they're jostling for position at the middle of the pack, newcomer Rosenqvist is astounding the crowd by holding on to the lead with impressive energy management.
How is he doing that? Is he doing it because he's using energy, or is he actually that quick? If he's that quick, the rest of them are in a wee bit of trouble, I would say.
Just behind him is British driver Sam Bird and our favourite camel-loving Frenchman, Jean-Eric Verne.
Big move, there we go! Look from how far back he came there.
Until Verne speeds in the pit lane and is served a drive-through penalty, costing him valuable places.
Should drive through. Oh.
Jeff cannot believe it. That's a second kick in the teeth today in the last 3 hours. And
speed, Jeff, speed.
With just 6 laps to go, Buemi is out of traffic and enjoying his fan boost.
Now, Buemi is always going to be in the green compared to Rosenqvist because of that extra lump of fan boost that has brought him up close.
The Renault driver proves too fast for Rosenqvist, who's forced to give way.
Here, though, he's Rosenqvist going defensive.
A month ago, Hong Kong was Buemi's 7th win. This is Rosenqvist's 2nd race in Formula E, and Buemi goes around the outside.
Nothing he could do there.
Bird adds the pressure and pushes the Mahindra driver to 3rd with an impressive overtake on the 2nd to last lap.
Surely this is the move. Yeah. I think poor old Felix is in a bit of energy trouble here.
Checkered flag awaits victory in Marrakech. The first race winner in Africa is Sebastian Buemi, 2 for 2 to start the season.
The race ends with Felix Rosenqvist celebrating a 3rd place podium finish in his 2nd ever Formula E race. Sam Bird scoops 2nd, and a very familiar face takes the top spot. As the sun sets on Marrakech, we say goodbye to our Formula E drivers as they have December off. But don't worry, in next month's edition, we will be bringing you all of our favourite moments from Supercharged 2016. So don't miss it. And it even includes me behind the wheel of a Formula E car. We'll see you then.